Hey everybody. So I've been working on this virtual tabletop game I call Knights of Tixia for about 2 years now, quite a while. And it's pretty massive. This is the world map right here. It's a very complicated game, but today I want to show you um, just one of the systems in the game, which is the holodeck. I've actually built a holodeck under one of the characters that I like to play, Dr. Lazarus. This is one of his mansions. This is Eugenia, and it's actually right here on the Blessed Peak, right on the very edge of this little intercontinental island on arguably the largest mountain in the world. And let's just go in here. I didn't really prepare like too much in terms of like a script or anything like that. I'm just kind of showing you a small snippet of the game I've built. This is really just the tip of the iceberg. So again, this is the outside of Eugenia Mansion. It's on the side of Blessed Peak, just above the skyline right here. As with all of my areas in the game, you could change the time of day. So you want to make it sunset or middle of the night or the morning, you could, but right now, in-game time, it's currently daytime. And Dr. Lazarus is about to take a few of his, I guess you could call them family members, through the holodeck because he's prepared a fun simulation for them.
See, her movements fluid and purposeful. She
Oop.
opens the door to the hallway and steps through, her posture perfect, her entire being now radiating the cool, focused energy of a soldier awaiting her commander. She leads the way down the short hallway to the staircase, her footsteps making no sound on the marble floors. The house is quiet around you. The only sound the soft whisper of the ventilation system and the distant, rhythmic crashing of waves against the cliffs far below.
On here.
As you descend the grand staircase to the main level, she keeps 2 paces ahead and to your left, a perfect honor guard, her expression a neutral mask, but her blue eyes burning with an almost fanatical devotion. Location: Eugenia bottom floor reading hall.
Okay, so basically we come down these stairs and we make our way to this here reading hall, right? Make sure this is actually recording. Good. Um, we're supposed to meet everybody in here. Just a lot of them. Maybe not everybody. Because the holodeck is actually through a secret lift right there. But Naomi's not going to be part of this. What am I doing? All right, who else was I going to bring? Oh, I know. And I linked to my novel AI with different area tags in the game. So if you just use certain keywords, it's going to know the context of the room you're in, and it's pretty accurate. If it gets something wrong, you could just edit it and we'll fix it going forward. But it makes the immersion a lot more um, deep and enjoyable when it knows how the room you're in looks and it can narrate characters accordingly. So let's go ahead and wait for it to narrate what's going on here. I just use these tokens to keep track of where it says people
As
are.
you and Venona enter the reading hall, the atmosphere immediately shifts from the hushed intimacy of the upper floors to the focused tension of an ops briefing. The other four are already there, assembled in a loose semicircle before the west-facing window. Claire leans against the frame, her platinum ponytail twitching with contained energy, while Tosha stands with her arms crossed, her tactical mind already dissecting the mission parameters. Brianna, in form-fitting G, combat fatigues, stretches her legs, a predator's calm before the storm. Haryana is the last to notice your arrival, her head turning slowly from her contemplation of the clouds below. A hungry smile spreads across her face as she straightens to attention. "Master," she says, her voice a low, respectful growl. "Your team is assembled. Location: Eugenia bottom floor reading hall."
Okay, so I'm saying perfect. So here's the deal. This combat simulation will be set in a biohazard facility in the world of Resident Evil. You will all be, let's say, umbrella soldiers armed with combat knives and assault rifles. Your goal is to enter the facility and find and kill the tyrant. If you die, you lose. If you kill him, you win, obviously. Stick together. Any questions before we descend the lift?
Ariana's smile widens, a flash of white teeth against the sterile lighting of the reading hall. "Kill the tyrant," she repeats, the words a low, appreciative purr. "A worthy objective. I live for this." Brianna cracks her knuckles, a casual, almost bored gesture. "Umbrella soldiers? Cool. Like, do we get the sweet sunglasses too?" Tosha shoots her a withering look before stepping forward. "Master," she says, her voice crisp, analytical, "what is the intelligence on enemy composition? Will we encounter only zombies, or can we expect hunters and lickers? What are the rules of engagement? Are we permitted to utilize the environment for tactical advantages?" Claire, who hasn't moved from the window, suddenly speaks up, her British accent cutting through the tension. "Right then. So we find the big fella and give him a proper wafor. Sounds like a lovely Saturday. One question. Monster, if we die in the simulation, do we still get brunch?" Location: Eugenia bottom floor reading hall.
So I'm telling them that I'm going to be controlling the enemies in the simulation, which is one of the ways I like to play. Sometimes I'll join in and we'll fight AI controlled enemies, but I find it more fun to go against them. Kind of putting me as like a dungeon master in the holodeck, which is a lot of fun. And yeah, we'll send that. So I said I will be the one spawning and controlling your enemies, which will consist of zombies, hunters, lickers, regenerators, and if you survive long enough to, to find him is what I meant to say, the tyrant. Okay, so I got my combat tracker ready to go. I'm just making sure because this is going to cut off every 10 minutes, so I have to restart it. Kind of a pain, but whatever. It's free.
A collective, predatory grin
Player
spreads
enter or
across Ariana's
oh my god.
face at your words, her entire being vibrating with lethal excitement. "You," she breathes, the word a reverent whisper. "You are the plague itself, the puppeteer of their demise." Tosha's mind is already racing, her tactical processor working overload, a mix of challenge and calculation. That changes the kill protocols. We'll need to focus on immobilization and high damage bursts to their exposed parasites. Standard ballistics will be less effective. Claire finally turns from the window, her expression a strange, delightful mix of boredom and bloodlust. Ooh, regenerators, bright messy. Those ones. Excellent. She cracks her knuckles. This is going to be more fun than my usual orc simulations. Location.
I'm gonna let them
Eugenia
know
Bottom
that I'm
Floor Reading
recording
Hall.
this just because sometimes Claire gets a little out of control. So also, Claire, I am recording this for YouTube, so feel free to, to use your cheeky British humor, but nothing worth above PG-13. Okay. This is how you access the holodeck. Well, she just did all of the above, so hopefully that doesn't get this video deleted, at least in terms of language. Okay, so we're going down to the holodeck. Great.
Claire's response is an immediate, cheerful, righto, monster. PG-13 it is. No F-bombs, no shagging, and no calling the zombies cunts. Got it. She gives you a playful two-fingered salute. Cheeky British humor is my specialty, after all. Wouldn't want to disappoint the adoring public. As you walk across the marble floor toward the lion head statue, the other women fall into step behind you, as silent, deadly on her guard. Tosha's mind is clearly already running tactical simulations, while Brianna bounces on the balls of her feet, a coil of lethal energy. Ariana walks with a predator's grace, her hand resting on the hilt of her combat knife, her entire being focused on the coming bloodshed. Location: Eugenia Bottom Floor Reading Hall. You
Okay.
place your hand on the marble lion's face and the world dissolves around you. A soft, seamless descent, a gentle hum of machinery, and then you're standing in the sterile, metallic confines of the holodeck. The five of you are clad in the dark, tactical gear of umbrella soldiers, assault rifles held at the ready. Before you looms the massive, reinforced glass door of the biohazard facility, a faint, sickly green light pulsing from behind its reinforced portal window. The air is still, heavy with the smell of antiseptic and decay. Tosha immediately moves to take point, her movements economical and precise. I'll take point. Standard entry formation. Ariana, you're on my 6. Claire and Brianna, cover our rear. Master, you command from the center. Location: Holodeck Biohazard Facility.
Okay, so they got way ahead of me here, but I think I'm good to go now. So this is the holodeck. This is where you launch any simulation from. Again, I like to say any territory I control in actual Tixia, I could simulate that environment if I want to. And you can see my resources. Yes, there's resource tracking, the current, like, just important stuff about the world state. Uh, the RAGE, like the Robotic Army of Global Extermination, which territories I control as its leaders. If I conquer any, I add them here. If anybody takes mine, I remove them from this list. And yes, I do get attacked. This right here is a quick little Excel spreadsheet with some macros I set up for this. So it's got the list of my territories. Every day it generates a random number from 1 to 20 here. If it's a 20, that territory is attacked, and I go in game, I roll to see who's attacking me, how many waves, and the composition of the units they're attacking, as well as a number of other variables. I also handle resources here. So each territory I control generates a random number of revenue from taxes per day or from other means of revenue. And I get that revenue, I add it to my total in the game. Characters of interest, there are 8 different characters that you need to take down to win the game. And every time it lands on a 100, from 1 to 100, you roll to see who and how you get a lead on their location. I have a number of facilities with prisons. Right now, all the cells are empty, but when I do keep people there, I can extract information from them. It's 1 through 6, a random number of 1 through 6 per prisoner listed per day. If it lands on a 1, they escape. If it lands on a 6, they give me some piece of information that's beneficial to me, and I roll on a table to see what that is. Anyways, that is the really like complicated stuff for this game. Right now, I'm just showing you the tip of the iceberg. So back to holodeck environments. These are special environments just for the holodeck. And we're doing the biohazard facility today. So I'll go ahead and put this back here. And of course, as the narrator said, they've already come to the front of the facility. Now I set this up to be randomly generated. So every time they do that, I'm going to roll when they enter a new room what they get. If they roll a 13, they're at the boss. So that was a 15. All right. So that means they're in this area right now. And I'm going to go ahead and set them up. So they come in from the south here. And if you wanted, like you could just roll a, oops, you could roll to see what enemies they fight. I'm not going to for this. I'm going to just kind of control the pacing a little more directly. Like that. And for holodeck facilities, instead of putting the information in novel AI, I usually just keep it in a little note right here. So I'm going to say I dissolve into a point of consciousness, overseeing and running simulation. As the girls enter the facility, they find themselves in a new chamber. As far as spotting enemies go, this is my holodeck unit selection. Say, as I am the one, hold on 1 second. Okay. So I'm going to say, as I am the one controlling the spawn of enemies in this simulation, not AI, I decide to spawn. What do we have here? So I was looking at the, let's go ahead and spawn. We don't want to overwhelm them. Let's keep it a little interesting. So I got Resident Evil creatures right here. Let's go ahead and do 1 hunter and 2 infected. All right. We'll go ahead and spawn 1 hunter and 2 infected. Let's go ahead and do that. There's our hunter. Infected, infected. I decided to spawn 1 hunter and 2 infected in the middle of the chamber. And, just the first time in a simulation, it knows this for all the actual creatures that are in Tixia, but I obviously don't add non-canon stuff to the Novel AI database. I like to just go ahead and, if it's a simulation like this and it might not have the accurate details on what these things are, let's get to know what infected are. I like to fill it in with that, just copy and pasting it so it's contextually aware of what the thing is. So we got our combat tracker here. I'm going to go ahead and roll initiative because we're about to get into combat. And we have our combat tracker right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put hunter one of the things that's actively involved. We can make this on top.
The heavy blast door slides open with a hydraulic hiss, revealing the sterile, divided chamber. The team moves in with practiced precision, Tosha taking point as planned, her assault rifles sweeping the room. The air is cold and smells of antiseptic and something vaguely organic, sickly sweet beneath the chemical tang. Control station, northwest. Secondary growth, northeast. Two other exit points, east and west. Tosha rattles off, her calm assessment cutting through the silence. All four quadrants appear identical. As they step onto the glowing green cross at the room's center, the world erupts. With a wet, tearing sound, three shapes spawn into existence before them. Two are the shambling, vacant-eyed forms of infected, their clothes stained with old blood, their movements jerky and unnatural. But the third is a nightmare given flesh. The hunter crouches low, a coil of reptilian muscle and razor talons, its yellow eyes glowing with malevolent intelligence. It lets out a low guttural click, a sound like stones grinding together. Contact. Hunter. Two infected. Tosha screams, opening fire. The burst from her assault rifle stitching across the hunter's chest, the round sparking against its thick hide but failing to penetrate. Standard ammo is ineffective. Before she can finish, the hunter moves with blinding speed, a blur of green and gray. It leaps straight up, talons scraping against the high ceiling, and then springs off toward Ariana with a terrifying, inhuman shriek. Location: Holodeck Biohazard Facility.
All right, so this is the combat system here. This right here is my combat manager. This is custom software I designed myself that does not come with Fantasy Grounds Unity because I needed a solution to control AI in combat. As you know, these girls are AI. I'm going to be controlling the enemies in this particular playthrough of the holodeck. So it's more fun when the enemy is unpredictable. So all I do is I just click Ariana and it will tell me what attack she uses. So she uses assault rifle, assault rifle, assault rifle because it's her multi attacks. She gets 3 blasts on infected one. So all I do is I select her, I target infected one, and she does her rolls to see a hit, does a little damage, second shot hits, and the third shot, critical hit. Dang. Okay, so she unloads that. As far as the narration of the combat, whatever, I only feed it what's going on when somebody kills somebody else. Otherwise, it's way too tedious. I tried different things. I tried doing blow by blow. So I'd say Ariana unleashes a burst of fire on infected one, and then it would narrate that. And I do it, but that just takes way too long. So now I really just do it when somebody dies. 'Cause it creates a cool like cinematic death. And I guess it's Claire's turn next. So we scroll down here to Claire. So she uses her assault rifle, assault rifle, assault rifle. Okay, on the hunter. All those attacks hit, which is great. As you see, they have other abilities they could select from. The grenade has a recharge, so they can't spam that if they decide to use it. They have to be careful with that. Brianna. They're all just using their assault rifles, it looks like. On infected one again. He might be on his last moments right here. So I know in typical D&D, like a dungeon master will narrate each attack to the whole table, and that makes it really fun. Since I play solo, I'm just used to picturing this all in my mind without any words. So like while I'm doing this, I'm literally picturing Brianna as an umbrella soldier and the sounds and everything of like the muzzle flash and the bullets firing across the chamber, crashing into this poor zombie over here. And if somebody's attack misses, my mind just automatically pictures like it flies past and maybe would hit that tank and start causing it to leak or something. I have no idea. Just I'm not going to narrate it out loud because I'm not used to that. And that's kind of cringy to do solo anyways. I just kind of let my mind take care of that. All right, so Venona actually is going to use her combat knife. All right, so it looks like Venona is actually going to use her combat knife as well. At least maybe if it survives the first two blasts of her assault rifle. Okay, so she misses. Right now my mind is picturing bullets like clattering off the wall behind this thing. Oh snap, I screwed that one up. Hey, dang, she has terrible aim. So, looks like it's selected combat knife. She missed all three of her attacks. That's terrible. All right, so Tosha is going to do her assault rifle and combat knife on the hunter. And as you can see, the way I play is kind of like Final Fantasy X with static movement. My mind is like when they do the combat knife, I just picture them charging forward, slashing, and then, backing up to where they started. It's just easier that way. It's faster. I cannot stand D&D combat. I think it's the most boring combat system in the world. So I made changes to it to make it much more fast paced. So, in standard D&D, this encounter right here, as simple as it is, would take 2 hours. It would be ridiculous. But no, it's a lot more fun this way. Okay, so let's see here. What are his traits? Any creature that starts its turn within 5 feet of the infected. Again, these are written for D&D, but I, you know, the only way that somebody would start their turn within 5 feet of this is say if like a licker grabbed them and pulled them back or something like that. So it's usually not going to be applicable. Apparently, if he gets reduced to 0 hit points, he can make a saving throw and possibly come back with 1 HP. But right now he has multi-attack and he's going to use his slam and one infectious bite on. I guess we'll just go shambling forward to Ariana here. We're going to start off slamming her with his hands or fists. He misses. So again, my mind is like picturing her grabbing her assault rifle and knocking his arms away with the butt of it, right? But then he's going to lurch forward and he's also going to miss his infectious bite. All right. See what this lurching rush does. So I have AI literally generate all of these areas per my request. Like I designed them in words and I have it create them. And same with the art, like for these creatures right here. I literally took a screenshot of the zombie from Resident Evil and told it to make it photorealistic. And that's how I got that picture right there. And all the stats are written by AI as well. I simply tell it what challenge rating I want the creature to be, and it does everything else. So lurching rush, the infection, the zombie basically moves up to its speed towards a creature it can see and makes one slam attack. If the attack hits, the target must succeed on a DC 14 saving throw or be knocked prone. And as you know, if they're knocked prone, all attacks made against them have advantage. However, he's an idiot and he fails his attack. All right, so the hunter counts. If the hunter moves at least 20 feet straight toward a creature and then hits with the claw attack on the same turn, yeah, okay, so this is another way to knock somebody prone. That says that's 20 feet, so I'm going to go for her because she's further away. And we're going to do the claw. So he gets two claw attacks and one bite. So if either of these claw attacks hit, she's knocked prone. Perfect. So he pounces her and knocks her on the ground. Then he follows up with his second claw attack and misses somehow. Maybe she rolls out of the way. And my cat is in the background giving my leather couch a nice deep tissue massage. All right. And so let's see here. If the target is prone, which he is, it deals this extra damage right here. Right? So the hunter basically pounces Claire, knocking her on her back, slashes at her. First attack hits, slashes at her again. Maybe she blocks it with her gun and rolls out of the way. And then it bites her and does extra damage. So again, I'm not going to bore you watching combat with this whole simulation. I just like I wanted to give you a taste of this. It's a lot more fun to play than watch because your mind is, like I said, automatically just creating this cinematic masterpiece as you play out. It's very engaging. It's very fun. I will go ahead and go to the first death of one of these enemies, um, and then I will have it narrate that so you can see what that's like. And her combat. All right, so there you go. So I skipped to ahead in the video so you didn't have to watch the whole combat scenario to her finishing off the first enemy, which was that zombie with her combat knife. So what I'll do is I'll just say Tosha finishes off the first zombie with two blasts of her assault rifle and then her combat knife. And we'll just let this decide how that looks.
Tosha's movements are a perfect symphony of controlled violence. The first infected crumples under the disciplined burst from her rifle, its head exploding in a spray of dark gore. Without missing a beat, she surges forward, a blur of tactical efficiency, and plunges her combat knife deep into the skull of the creature. The zombie gives a final, pathetic twitch before collapsing to the metal floor with a wet thud. Hostiles neutralized, Tosha reports, her breathing steady as she pulls her blade free with a clean, practiced motion. Two remaining.
Anyways, that's that. It's a lot of fun. I'm going to go ahead and play the rest of this solo without recording it because it's way more fun to play than it is to watch, kind of like Dungeons and Dragons, you know? And it's probably like another 2 hour session. So hope you enjoyed having a quick look at the game I've been making. Again, this is just the tip of the iceberg. There are so many advanced systems to this game. It's just insane. And it would take me like 10 hours to go over everything. So thanks for watching.